welcome to Survivor Live. This season we are getting up close and personal with the castaways, and we need your help to do it. So remember to tweet in #SurvivorLive, and we will incorporate your questions as we go. Also, stick around for the exclusive extended preview after this week's show. Right now, let's go ahead and jump in. We've got LJ, the horse whisperer, with us, fresh off his blind side from last night. Pretty brutal. How are you feeling?
I'm torn. I'm torn between respecting a huge gameplay move and the fact that I'm out of the game. It's such a difficult thing to watch and live and feel, but being such a fan of the show, it's, he might have been the best move he could ever make, and it could be the worst one. But all in all, I'm doing everything I can just to take the bitter taste out of my mouth, because it's pretty bad right now.
Yeah, drinking a lot of juice, eating a lot of ice cream.
Yeah, I'm cleansing.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Okay, so Tony looks like he's going completely insane. Why don't you realize this? I see you talking to Trish last night. We saw that happening, and we saw you guys sort of like commiserating about how insane Tony's going, but you don't really call him out on any of his stuff.
Antics, yeah. Well, here's the thing is, when they saved me from going home and they voted Cliff out, I said, all right, I have a shot here. I built something. We've made a bond where we're going to make this plan that we're going to be 5 strong or 6 strong and go towards the end with the plan. That means nothing in the game of Survivor.
Right.
So
especially with Tony.
Oh, especially with Tony. And at the point in the game where people have a lot of questions on why did you play the idol for the dude? And
why did you play the idol for him?
Well, it was twofold. In my mind, before we went into tribal, I had it played already. I had to play it now because we're outnumbered. I need to use this.
Really? Did you feel like you were going home? Did you feel like it was going to be you? Okay, so you were going to play it to protect yourself anyway.
It was gone. I spent it. I used it.
Okay.
I cashed in already in my head.
It's sort of like how you train your mind when you're gambling at the tables. Like, I've got this $100. I might lose it, but that's okay. Right. Maybe I gain something.
And it's probably the only single plan I've ever had in my life. I don't plan, and my friends and family know this. I'm terrible with it. I don't plan. Okay. So I kicked myself in the butt for that because I planned something, and it backfired. So I thought, okay, it's spent. And then when he pulled his out, and I was like, oh man, he's got one. So now we're both going to use it. Woo's clear, but where do we use it? Do we use it for whoever? And then, he played it for me, and now I have millimeters of seconds to think, what am I going to do? And I was like, okay.
But you're safe.
But I'm safe. But I also was
keep
like,
it in your pocket.
So I'm thinking,
you're
okay,
too nice.
there's one person playing this game. This was in my head. There's one person playing this game aside from myself, and that is Tony. We're in a game of individuals, and we're all enemies. So I need to keep my biggest enemy closest, and it's him. He's playing the game.
Okay.
So I thought, okay, I can use this. If he goes home and I don't use it, now I'm down 6 to 3 or 4, but I still have an idol, so I'm going to buy myself maybe a little more time. Then I thought, all right, well, if I use this for him, I'm going to purchase this volatile character's loyalty and ensure that I just paid with this piece of collateral. I just paid myself proof that I'm going to commit to the plan.
Right.
It's one thing saying something, and it's another thing doing something.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, if I use this now, I just proved to my group that we're going forward. And more importantly, him. He's the only person that I felt was playing the game. Everyone else is like, when's it going to be me? So
you wanted to keep your enemy closer, and he, I think at that point, probably realized, okay, this guy's a real contender. He's really playing, because you gave him the idol, and then that is probably what inspired him to come after you.
That's probably true.
Because he clearly was threatened by you, and he was threatened by getting his name written down.
Right. That was the whole thing. That's what sent me home, is that, it was underplayed, but when Spencer was like, maybe we should just write Tony. And
why didn't they write you? Because if they would have written you, Tony wouldn't have been so freaked out.
Exactly. And then it was a smart move, because he runs on paranoia.
Yeah.
So the fact that he saw his name was like, zoom, 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 boom. And I thought, because I purchased his loyalty and he came to me and he was like, what do we do? Who's got an idol? How do we do this? I felt like he was confiding in me. So I said, all right, I have my thumb on him. And he's the only one I was worried about. I wasn't really worried about anyone else. And to watch it now, to see that, you know, he was asking me because he wanted to, because he was a threat now.
Yeah.
I was his bullet sponge.
Totally.
I was the person that, okay, I'll just hide behind him, and then it's an easy sell for let's get LJ out now. Right.
Well, plus also, I'm thinking, in your mind, if you go to the finals with Tony, do you think you have this game in the bag?
No, I don't.
Really?
I don't think I have it in the bag because he's playing the game. He's the only one playing.
Yeah, but do you also think he's alienating people? Like Sarah?
Yes,
like
yes and no. I mean,
now.
I don't. Well, I can't see myself. I personally didn't see anyone else as a threat if I was in a final with
It looks like
anybody.
Well, not even Spencer or Trish. I mean, yeah, because
Spencer would be tough. I think Spencer would be tough.
Because Spencer's fighting his way back, and people love an underdog with a success story.
Right.
Love it. And then Trish looks like she's actually more in control than Tony. Even though he's the one who's making all the moves, she's the one who's sort of like, she's the one who got cast to flip. She's the one who's really has the personal skills, the interpersonal skills to actually make someone change their mind or vote with them or feel loyal. And I think Tony's kind of like, his tactics are so abrasive, but I don't know if you guys felt that way on the island. As a viewer, that's the way I feel, and I think a lot of the fans also feel that way.
Yeah,
were you not getting that?
No, because he's out there, and I'm like, I am such a good reader of people. And you know, it's hindsight. It's like, oh, well, you went home, so no, you're not. But he was so, like, such a good talker. I would just sit there and listen to him, and I'm waiting for him just to trip up a little bit. But he would talk so fast and with such enthusiasm and confidence, as like
very charismatic.
Yeah, and it was just quick, quick, and I was like, all right, he didn't trip up, he didn't backtrack, he didn't do anything that would lead me to believe he's going to do something irrational. So I was like, all right, I have my thumb on this kid.
Did you watch Russell Hantz's seasons of Survivor?
Yeah, but it still wasn't like... Did you watch
Russell's strategy? Did you watch how he talks to people and interacts with people? This guy, Tony, is like the spitting image of Russell. It's like making me rip my hair out. That no one is calling him out.
Right. And it's tough now because I felt like I was the only one that had him kind of under wraps, and now it's what happens now. You know, I personally thought like this is an early move, and I won't know.
Sure.
I don't know if this is, you know, I couldn't do anything more to prove to him that I was going to stick to the plan with us as a group going forward. And
that's why you didn't even consider Tasha's proposal.
Right. Because I know how he is. I mean, we're watching Tony. We're watching him. He doesn't sleep at night. He's all over the place. Makes
people crack. The lack of sleep makes them unstable.
Right.
And Tony's already a known liar. And you know he's not sleeping.
Right.
But maybe do you think that it was because you're so in control of yourself that you gave him that credit and maybe he didn't deserve it?
Yes. Yes, I just really thought, I was like, okay, I read him, he's good, you know, manage, you know, it was just like controlling a fire, just bump him along the way, give him suggestions. I wasn't saying, let's vote out Woo. I was giving you options to settle your mind.
Did he approach you about Woo, or did you bring that up?
He approached me.
Okay.
You know, he came up to me and he's like, you know, I'm nervous, I'm nervous, what do I do?
Yeah, and you're like, oh, great.
So I made this, you know, I was like, all right, well, he's confiding in me, all right, so it's paid off. You know, he's spiraling. I can hide behind him now because he's just out of control.
Right.
And you know, in conversation, I thought I had him under control. And I said, well, if you're concerned about Woo having an idol, let's split the votes, and then you don't have to vote for him, and you could just flush it out of him, and now you can sleep at night.
Yeah, just make him feel a little threatened, so he'll play it if he does have it.
And meanwhile, completely backfired in my face.
Yeah, so then he goes to Woo. Did Woo even ever approach you or ask you or confront you?
Woo is just there.
Doing his thing.
He's there. He's running around. I don't think Woo was necessarily playing a game. playing Survivor. He was out there playing, running around stealing clues, you know.
Yeah.
He was trying to be funny or whatever.
He was just enjoying himself, right?
Yeah, but I don't think he was playing the game, so I wasn't really that concerned with him. But I knew that he knew Tony first, and Tony knew that he's going to do whatever he says. So
right. And it looks like Tony has a bunch of right-hand men, like men or women. You, Trish, Wu, those are all his number ones. And then he cuts you. So, I mean, I guess Trish and Wu were in on it to get you off. So it looks like if Jeffra and Cass have any...
Well, I don't think Trish was.
You don't think Trish was?
When he was communicating with Trish, I was watching and watching, and she said, he explained the situation, and she's calling me a liar. But she didn't go. She's like, I'm not going to go with this. You're not going to make the move. So what doesn't make sense for me is why didn't Trish come to me now? Because you just had that conversation with Tony. You told him what I said to you in confidence, and I'm talking about the final three, and you told him what I said. Why wouldn't you come to me now? Because you think right now there's a liar. One of us is a liar. If you're not going to do anything at all, then where's your future?
At least have a conversation.
Call me a liar. At least let me validate myself. And when you say that he did this, now I know. You know, this dude's he's out of control. Yeah. You either trust me or you don't. And now I can make moves. I can go talk to Tasha. You know, that's
right. But you didn't hear a peep. So
not a word.
Does Tony just have Wu and Trish completely under control? Are they under his spell?
Yeah, they're under his spell
and
because
you were
he's
under
a
his
fast
spell
talking
also.
thing, and I was.
Yeah. But you just want to.
But I thought I paid for the control. I thought I committed enough.
But Trish and Wu also started the game with him. So, also, did you ever consider getting back together with Jeremiah?
I did.
What was up with that?
When we were coming from the merge, we're coming in on the boat, I was looking, and we're like, all right, it's either Jeremiah or Sarah, one of them going home. Yeah. And we're looking up, this is Jeremiah, oh, this is Sarah. Well, who's going home? Who went home? Alexis. I'm like, oh my God.
They were worried. She said you were a good snuggler. They were a little bit worried.
There's no way that she said I was a good snuggler.
She did.
Oh man. Going to the cuddling thing, not to get off track, but I was like, okay.
We're allowed to get off track.
We're going to be on bookends here. And I am not a cuddler. I'm just like too big. I give off too much heat. We're sleeping on sticks. I'm going to move around all the time.
But isn't it still cold out there? You have to cuddle. It's part of the strategy.
So this is what I did. Yeah, it's also a part of a strategy to get sent home. And Bryce was trying to pry on that.
Bryce wanted to cuddle you?
No, he wanted me to try to expose me having some extra cuddle time.
Alliances.
So I
Bryce
did.
looks pretty cuddly.
Yeah, I mean he was like the middle. He was the middleman in the group. But I said, all right, I'm going to give you. One. I said, I'm going to try this. I'm not making any promises. You know, cuddle. I'm going to tell you, it wasn't 30 seconds where I'm like, can't do this. I can't do this. Yeah. I'm going to turn over. I was like, you can back into me. You know, I can give off heat. I just was not, I was so uncomfortable. And I was thinking in my head, if I'm cuddling with this person, I'm drawing flags.
I know that a lot of you guys out there watching are in love with LJ, and this is making you really upset right now because we got so many. I looked at your Twitter feed and even my Twitter feed because I'm asking people to write in questions, and it's like, will you propose to LJ for me? Will you find out if he has a girlfriend? Is he single? Everybody wants to know. So I'm sure this is going to be one of the questions that we're going to get asked. So go ahead and answer it right now. What's your dating status? What do you look for in a lady? Let's have it.
Well, I mean, right now, I am very happily single. You know, I committed to something where I was in a couple long relationships, and now I'm involved with the horses, and I'm trying to grow in the business, and I try to explain to people that I meet, you know, I might be a little scarred from my past, and I just like, it's not fair for me to try to make something work when I just have to commit to this now. But I mean, I don't know. I'm just, I just really look for funny. I mean, funny is such a huge thing and just open personality. But
okay, that's good.
I mean,
so you're not really looking for love right now. Definitely not ready to get married.
No, marriage, no. Just cuddling is really tough.
Cuddling comes hard.
It's minutes. Yeah, you get minutes. You get minutes a night.
That's tough. I love a good cuddle. I do. I love it.
I mean, there's time and place for cuddle, and it's usually the 35 seconds after, you know, the lovemaking situation. The little downtime.
So you're not saying. So you're saying there's a chance still. For someone, maybe a girl who's open, who's funny, and who's not too serious right now.
Yes.
To come slide in. And
that's safe.
Does she have to be into horses?
It helps.
Okay.
Well, if she's not, I mean, she can't be against them, because a lot of people don't even know they're into horses until they actually like feed one candy or a mint or touch one. They're like, oh my God, this is awesome.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's nice to bring someone into that world, whereas, you know, if somebody already knew it, then there's not really that much fun there.
So why couldn't you just pretend like you liked Morgan? Back onto Survivor.
Oh man, I tried.
We should have some questions, by the way. I have so many questions, so it's hard. Okay, I'm going to hold that question and then ask one of our fans' questions. This one is from Mitchell. Hi, Mitchell. Mitchell asked, did Trish talk to you about Tony coming to her and saying that he couldn't trust you? Oh, we already answered that question.
No, she didn't.
That didn't happen?
Nope, she sent me home.
All right, Crystal asked, I don't understand standing up Tosh. Why not entertain her a little and hear her out? Options are always good in Survivor, right?
That is very true. Options are always good. However, when you're dealing with such a volatile character like Tony, if I stand up and have a conversation with somebody from the opposing team, I know how he is. Now, I didn't want to nullify the fact that I wasted my idol on him for an allegiance. So for me to go and risk putting a target on my back just to hear her plan, I ran through my head, what could she possibly offer me that is worth risking just having a conversation? And I couldn't derive anything. I couldn't, because he hides in the woods.
You never know until you have the conversation. You can't read minds.
Well, I wish
maybe you're good with horses.
I wish you just told me something then. You know, give me something. Don't.
But here's the thing with
Because I also was thinking about this. You know how, you know, Tony did the little clue with Jeremiah?
Yeah.
Put him on the spot. Hey, let's get a little fire on him.
Mm-hmm.
That was in my head too. So you're going to pull me aside to just draw a little heat to me, because it ain't going to be
Tony's all up in your head, huh?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I had to. He's the only one that I had to be concerned about. So I had to play this horrible, boring game, because I had to be completely opposite of him if I wanted any shot at moving forward.
So was your strategy to lay low and let Tony be the mouthpiece?
Yes, I had to do that, and it kills me to watch this show and see how like boring I was, but I did it. I did it on purpose. I had to play that, because one thing I can't do is I cannot fake it in challenges. I cannot do it. I can't not solve a puzzle or do something before someone else. So if I wasn't, I would throw in challenges, and I can't do that either. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, I'll be as loud as I can doing, and then I'll be as quiet as I can talking, and that way I'll just kind of stay here in it. Bothers me so much to watch myself be like, man, you're boring. Man, you're boring. But I was like, I had to do it. I had to do it. I had to offset his.
Yeah, that's interesting, because you were really good at puzzles, and in the beginning of the game, you were a leader of your beauty tribe. So when you guys merged, it looked like you very easily took sort of a backseat to Tony, and I was wondering about that.
Yeah, I did the. You know, I used to do this at home, like, oh, pity me, poor me. I had an idol in my pocket, so I can play that game. I can play the assumed role of going home, and then, well, maybe they're like, well, maybe we can do something there. Maybe we can save him for another week and find a crack. And then Trish was like, you know, because she maybe felt bad for me, and we had some sort of Boston hometown connection, and she felt bad for me, and she was like, you know what, I can't stand. I'd rather be around you than him, and it just kind of unfolded into a holy shit, it worked. I was like, all right. I was like, they turned. They were more ready to be around me than to be around him. So it was nice.
Cliff, you're talking about?
Around Cliff, yeah. So I was able to just, okay, let me stay here because he wants to be here, and let them all talk themselves out of this game where I can prove myself in challenges.
So do you feel like you were the most successful in this game when you were playing out of character? Like doing things that weren't really you, and sort of being more manipulative?
I don't know. I mean, I hated to do it that way, but it was easier for me to take a back seat and read everything that was going on and let people. It's just like, you know, it's buying and selling in the world. It's like he who speaks first loses. You know, like you give me a price, you want to buy something, and then I'm like, oh, I was going to ask you only for this. So, but hey, if you're going to pay this much, so I tried to let people talk. But there's, you know, but most of these castaways, they didn't want to say anything either. I'm like, oh man, this is a killer.
And Tony's the only one who's running around talking.
And he's the only one
and everyone's
talking.
terrified to open their mouth.
Right.
Who's going to stand up for themselves next week? Can we see Jeffra get amazing? I really want her to.
I really hope so.
I really hope so.
I think that now we're at a point where there's going to be a spark, because now it's, you know, you kind of backed her into a corner. Now there's no shield of me.
Yeah.
Now it's, you know, get up and go and make a move.
And it does look like you're her protector for the duration of the game up to this point. You started day one together, so I'm sure she'll have something to say after they get back from tribal.
Yeah, I'm sure too. I'm excited to see
Me
that.
too. She's a little kind of, she can get feisty, I think.
She can.
But she's been also playing a really sweet game. So now maybe we can see her get rowdy.
Yeah, I mean, if she's not sworn now, then
she'll never be.
She will never be.
I want someone to call Tony out. Someone. And everyone's too afraid because they're all kind of running scared.
Well, one funny thing that, you know, like as soon as they read the votes, and I realized that he had flipped, because the way that we were splitting the votes, I knew it was him and Wu that had flipped. I was like, oh, you bastard. It's like, and this came to my head because I'm pretty quick and sharp, and then I almost said it, and I was like, oh, don't do it. But I almost, just for, I know how his mind works, and he's on crank all the time, I almost whispered to him, remember, I'm going to see your wife before you do. I almost whispered that because family day and all that stuff, just to get them like, woo, just get back to camp and not be able to think about, oh my God, he's gonna, oh my God, oh my God.
Why didn't you
and
do
I was
that?
like, oh, I don't know, okay, good game, guys. And I was like, oh my God, I was like, I should have just said it.
God, you just take the high road too.
Oh no.
On Survivor, sometimes you gotta fly low, make those nasty remarks.
Yeah, just to put that little.
And then you just say sorry later, and people get over it or they don't.
Yeah.
You know. All right, let's take another fan question. This one's from Crystal. Oh no, we already asked Crystal. This is Gabriel. If you could do it all over again, would you flip on Tony or remain 6 strong?
Well, in hindsight, it's easy to say, oh, I'd get rid of him. But I think that the game that I played, you cannot plan for somebody that is that irrational and plays with paranoia and stuff like that. You can't. You can't be. It wouldn't make sense for me to flip now, because now I would have to do a similar thing. Like I'm gonna make a couple enemies. We have to think towards jury votes, and now going to the other side, you know, they actually, you know, now that you asked me this question, Spencer has an idol, so now he has leverage over me. And
did you know that he had it?
No idea.
That's
I thought
pretty good.
Wu had it.
Really? You really
This is
thought
why,
Wu had it?
because what they didn't really show so much was I had a conversation with Wu. He came running over. He's like, "Woo! I got the clue," and he said to me, he said, "Oh, he's like, I found the first one. Spencer had it. I found the first one." He said, "But there was a clue to another one that's nearby." I said, "Oh, well, let's go find it." So and then I was thinking, why the two of them?
Yeah, well, there's the special idol.
Yeah, but he just said that there's another one nearby, and I was like, well, where's the other clue? I was like, it's in the water or something. And I was like, wait a minute, you're lying to me.
So was that Wu's attempt at playing Survivor?
Yeah, that was his big plan, and then, you know, that's why we thought Wu might have one. And if he does have one, he's not going to use it for us. So here, Tony, you're spiraling out of control. These are your options. Don't do this, and if you want to settle your head, these are your choices. Don't go nuts. Relax, calm down, chill.
Gosh, what have you learned specifically from your interaction with Tony?
That he is the best bullshit artist I've ever met in my life.
Like across the board.
He flawlessly he can flawlessly lie to you right to your face, and you can buy it. You just buy it. You believe it because it's so fast and so streamlined, and he doesn't skip a beat. He's always in his mind.
So would you say you are on the lookout for people like this in life from now on?
Oh yeah, I mean,
you'll know.
Course,
You'll be able to read them right away.
Yeah, but it also, I mean, in my industry, there's a lot of people that are like that.
Really? In the horse industry?
Yeah.
Horse racing.
Horse racing. It's because it's about money there.
Yeah.
It's about individuals and money and what's in the best interest for whom. But so it does put an additional distrust in the back of my mind where I'm going to now second guess anything. So now I'm going to read even more into things that I need to. And
I think it can make, like, Survivor can make you completely insane if you take your experience from Survivor as a macrocosm for the world, right? Because if you actually lived your life the way that you play Survivor or the way that you assume other people are living their lives, then you would be a paranoid lunatic.
You have a problem, yeah, definitely.
So at some point you have to be able to just
That's why people, when they're asking me, like, are you bitter or are you mad and all this stuff, and I'm forcing myself to say this was a game. It was a move that he had to make. It was probably the best move that he could make, whether it's in hindsight or not, to remove me from the game, because right now no one else is playing. I don't know. I mean, aside from maybe Spencer and Tosh having an immunity runs or winning those challenges, I mean, there's no one else he really needs to worry about, except for everyone as individuals on whether they're going to vote me out. Well, if you make it to the end, then
which he could be scared enough about in order to do something else crazy.
Yeah, because when you really chop it up, I mean, you didn't blindside just me. You blindsided Jeffra, Trish, because she didn't think you were going with that plan, and Cass. So now you have those three that are going to be
it seems
sour,
to me like he just made it a lot harder for himself moving forward.
And that's why I couldn't justify doing that move then. There's just too many people there. Right.
Yeah, makes sense. All right, let's ask one more question. Do you regret voting out Morgan so early when she was much less of a threat than Tasha, Spencer, and Jeremiah? I'm excited about this question because I really am interested about your relationship with Morgan.
Yes, I did. We got to the point in that game where we have an alliance of 6 people, and where do I stand in the alliance? And I'm thinking jury votes, I'm thinking the whole game. Right. And I really didn't think, I'm not going to get a vote from Morgan. So that was part of it. But another part was, Morgan doesn't need to go yet. So if she's with me in the end, then that's fine.
She's not going to win.
She's not going to win. Yeah. So I had made a mere suggestion for Cass at that point. Because we're kind of even numbers here. If Cass just says, I'm going to go back over there, there's nothing we can do. Our idols are gone, and the bigger players, I think, in the game were on our side. So are you going to try to ride with us, or are you just going to pick us off one by one? Because if she went back, we're screwed. Right. But I didn't want to be so much of an out position where they're like,
well, at that point, then you ceded control to Tony, because if you had really campaigned to get Cass, you would have had Spencer, Tasha, and Morgan's votes. So that would have been 4 of you guys to get rid of Cass, and she would have been gone. And they don't have a choice. They already know they're like sitting ducks right there. So you totally could have made that move.
Yeah,
Or you just afraid to piss off Tony?
It was just too soon.
Yeah. Well, because then you have to.
Because I feel like it's like I don't know. It's like investing in Apple and then you go buy a Samsung phone. Do I cut my losses now? I played my idol for you. I proved to you. Right.
That was after you played.
I proved to you that I'm going to be loyal to you to a certain point. I thought that would simply outweigh any kind of big move this soon post-merge, and I was like, all right, it doesn't make sense to do this yet. Yeah. So.
But I guess so maybe the best thing to do when you're playing with someone that volatile and crazy that you can't anticipate what they're going to do next is just get rid of them.
Yeah. Send them home.
Yeah. But then it makes for like, it's better TV to have those kind of people on.
Yeah,
Tony's making it really an entertaining season.
I agree. And I'm glad he was there, and I was like, all right, well, had he gone, I get to shift my persona a little bit. I kept letting him.
Yeah, well, you could have risen up and been more outspoken.
Right. So.
Okay, but before we wrap up, we have to talk more about Morgan, because I watched your Ponderosa video, and you walk in and you're like, "Hi, girls," and they don't stand up to greet you. It's just like, "Hi," and then Morgan gives you a cheers, and she's looking at the camera all like, "I hate this guy."
Yeah.
What's the deal?
Well, I mean, the deal is it's from episode 1, Hot Girl with a Grudge. That is something where somebody, an individual, is so accustomed to getting whatever they want, whenever they want. And this wasn't a circumstance where you're going to get what you want. And I even gave some opportunities for, feedback and interaction, and she just held that grudge. And she can say all the things that she wants or whatever. It's, you're out of the game, so you can. I'm sure you were stoked that I got kicked off because you held that stupid little grudge from the beginning of the game. Like, I knew that you had a clue, and you lied to me. I gave you an opportunity to maybe do something, because no one's going to think we're going to work together. I called you out right from the beginning. Give me some show me something that you want to play this game. You want to be here. Right. Because if I say it, then you go back to like Bryce and Jeremiah and whatever, and then I'm going to go sooner. So I wanted to let her talk and speak, and she's like, I got nothing. Nothing. She just couldn't let it go. So then I just got to the point where I'm like, all right, I'm done. I can't interact with you. In this game, there's nothing there. You're a figure. You're gonna eat food, and you're gonna be there. But I mean, I genuinely tried to make something. You're gonna eat food, and you're gonna be there. Yeah. At least she wasn't dumping food. That's true. That's very. She kind of just consumed it. Yeah. I'll tell you what, though, and I'm going to say this now, but she was the first one at the pot every day. Every day you would make the rice, and she was the first one eating, and we're all like, oh my God. She did say that even Jeff called her out too. Like, everyone's calling out Morgan, but no one's calling out Tony. He's like, oh well, obviously, like, people wait on you in your life because that's what you expect. And she said that you and Jeremiah made it really easy for her to not do anything. Yeah, and that was another thing too, is like when we were at the camp life, I was up first because I'm sleeping on the edge, I'm getting rained on, I'm uncomfortable, I'm like, sun, come out, and then I want to start the fire. I'm making rice, but I'm making rice for me because I need to eat. It doesn't hurt for me to make more rice for everyone else, so it's there when they're done. And they just got accustomed to that, so I just like, all right, I'm gonna do as much as I can so that they can't live without me and they can't vote for me. So I had to play that in the beginning, but something that, like, Jeremiah has this extra Southern hospitality where, like, can you get me my jacket? Can you just, and he'll get it. And should we get more water? Well, yeah. And then Jeremiah picks it up and goes. I'm like, oh, stop. You're killing me here. You're killing me here. What is it to go to the well and get some water? Let him go. And he just, and I had to go with it. You were on a tribe with a lot of young girls. You were definitely the easy early leader from the beginning. I had to go with it. Well, LJ, it's been lovely. I'm just going to pull out a magic item from the CBS store out of my little cowgirl boot. This is for you to dry your tears. Thank you so much. Although you seem pretty all right today. Yeah. Not too emotional from your recent blind side. Yeah, I ran You've had enough time to process. If you guys want your own buff, you know where to go, cbs.com/store, and you can get that. Yeah. Is that the right tribe? This is the right tribe. Well, I mean, in your beginning tribe. Yeah, in the sense of CBS, this is the right tribe. That's right. Oh, wow. You wanted to be on a different tribe? I didn't want to. Did you think you should have started on? I thought it would have been a Braun. Oh, could have been a Braun. You're pretty muscular, pretty strapping. Thanks. Maybe you and Woo could have switched places. He's I agree. Or I think I could have switched with even Garrett maybe, but you can't really sell a smart horse trainer. But people figured that out later. Too late. All right, well,
It's been great talking with you. Thank you for all your insights. Thank you guys so much for joining us. It was another lovely chat. Join us next week as we meet the next castaway, and stick around for the exclusive extended preview right here. All right, bye.
See you later, guys.
Right now, my red flag's raised because I blindsided LJ. I'm in trouble, so I'm gonna have to do something to get myself out of it. Most people, including myself, we go all the way to the water well because it's a bit further away from camp where people can't hear you, and that's where they talk strategy. So I started working on some blueprints to make a nice little shack around the water well. The water well is here. There's a tree there, and I put some bushes and some shrubs and some broken branches where I can hide right in that, and I'm within 5 feet away. That's where I'll be the most patient, when I'm sitting in my spy shack.